to do something, they want to be able to say, as long as the federal government says it's okay, it's okay. And Florida wants to be able to say, no, we're not doing that in our state. We're not going to be doing this in our state. I think it's a little bit more than that. Is this the clip that was extremely disturbing?
This was with Peter Thiel sitting down with Ross Douthat, and he's talking about the Antichrist and how, the Antichrist could be ushered in through AI because he was warning this guy about it. By the way, Peter Thiel looks kind of odd, but listen to that. Look at how awkward he turns, Pat, once he mentions the Antichrist and him basically being able to usher him in if he's really going there. Play this clip, Robbie. That's going to be in the first.
My very specific question for you, right, is that you're an investor in AI. You're deeply invested in Palantir, in military technology, in technologies of surveillance, in technologies of warfare, and so on, right? And it just seems to me that when you tell me a story about the Antichrist coming to power and using the fear of technological change to sort of impose order on the world, I feel like that Antichrist would maybe be using the tools that you were building, right? Like, wouldn't the Antichrist be like, great, we're not going to have any more technological progress, but I really like what Palantir has done so far, right? Yeah, I mean, isn't that a concern? Wouldn't that be the irony of history would be that the man publicly worrying about the Antichrist accidentally hastens his or her arrival?
Look
at there are all these different scenario. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing.
I mean, to be clear, I don't think that's what you're doing either. I'm just interested in how you get to a world willing to submit
he's been holding on to the ring of power
permanent authoritarian rule.
Well, but by the way, he makes this is a very important question he's asking about there.
Huge.
He says, I don't think you're doing it, but how do you prevent from a guy? Go back 7 seconds, Rob. Could you go back 7 seconds? Keep going. 10 seconds. Yeah, play that clip from right there. I don't think you're doing it.
Rule.
Well, but again, there are these different gradations of this we can describe, but is this so preposterous, what I've just told you, as a broad account of the stagnation that the entire world has submitted for 50 years to peace and safetyism? This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. The slogan of the Antichrist is peace and safety, and we've submitted.
That's correct.
He looks.
How do we know that's not AI itself?
Well, it's actually, Tom, what do you think about what he's saying?
Well, he's pointing, what Peter Thiel sounds like, and I'm not inside his head, and there's a lot that was going on in that interview, but he's correctly pointing out that verse in 1 Thessalonians that says that the Antichrist will come, I bring peace, I bring safety. And what does everybody want right now? They want peace and safety. By the way, when Amy and when you said, hey, let's do a 16-week countdown, let's look at the polling. And so we did that, and it was great programming that you chartered on Valuetainment. And one of the things that we found was state by state. Guess what was the closer you got to the southern border, immigration was number one, and that safety-related immigration was number one. Much different in Missouri than it was in Arizona. In Arizona, Republicans and Democrats were worried about it because in Arizona, it was on their front lawns. So what he's talking about is peace and safety. Ism has been something that the voter and the citizen has wanted for 50 years or more. Look at how Germany agreed to things at the end of World War II because the Germans that were still alive in villages that weren't even connected to the Nazis, they just wanted it to stop so they could get back. And so they agreed to things, including, they didn't really protest and understand what was going on with the split of Germany that was happening. And so they went with peace and safety. So what he's talking about is very accurate. People look for peace and safety, and the Antichrist will come offering peace and safety. Now, I disagree. I do not think AI is going to hasten the arrival of the Antichrist. The sin of man will hasten the arrival of the Antichrist and hasten the return of the real Christ, Jesus Christ. However, along the way, the deception will be great. And I think that's the point he's trying to get to. But the other gentleman was making, I think was a good and fair point, aren't every advanced tool, like if you go look at all of the technological tools, you look at the DVD, you look at video games, you look at things that were going on, you look at the multi-camera angles that were on DVD. Do you know what the first industry always to use all of these entertainment advanced technology is?
Government?
Porn. Porn. Porn was the first one to use all the advanced stuff on DVD. They say, imagine watching a movie from 5 different angles. Boom. Porn had it first. And so sinfulness and things goes first with usually technological advances because fraudsters use it before there's controls and evil people use it before there's laws and a sheriff. And so whereas the Antichrist will say, hey, I will clean all this up. I will make it nice for you. He's absolutely correct. And he's speaking from a biblical point of view.
I like it. Okay, next story. Trump